Hey, it's okay now. So, sorry everyone. Thanks for
I think,
bearing
yeah, I
with
think
us.
I've sussed it out. I've sussed it out. Thank goodness for that.
Right, spot on. Shall we try this again? This is it'd be all right on the night type stuff.
Ah, yeah. No, we're all there. Yeah, Philip Mason who said you're okay, James. I am okay. My sound is all right, but it's Terry's playbacks echoing onto my computer, so it's even with the headphones in, it was echoing through our streaming service, so it was a bit iffy. But it looks as though we're back up and running. We'll see what happens. Let's get on to the really important stuff, the football and transfer news. We'll start with, as we said before, anyway, with Sami Khedira. What's your stance on Sami Khedira, Terry?
No, he's crocked. He's old, and you can't just walk into the Premier League at that stage of your career. Like especially when in centre midfield where everyone's quick and got and athletic and strong. He'd just get eaten alive. So it's a hard no from me. I want to see different midfielders. We've got loads of absolute carts in centre midfield still, but adding another one's not going to fix things. So it's a no from me. What about you?
Uh, I I don't think it's the right one for us personally. I mean, Sami Khedira for me when he was in his prime was a player who very much relied on his physicality and his strength, and I just think that if his if his fitness is on the wane and he's had problems with his fitness, then he's not going to be able to provide that the way we knew he could in the past. And I just don't think if his best attributes are on the wane, then you're on hiding to nothing. I think we need to avoid that. I think we just need to find somebody who will command a slightly lower wage, and there's plenty of players, dare to say it, in mid-table teams who could offer us something. There's players in championship teams who could offer us something. We've just got to be a little bit more shrewd and constantly signing cast-offs from elite sides.
Depends who it is though. Like you say, cast-offs, but Luca D is one of our best players, and he's a cast-off technically from Barcelona, and James Rodriguez is a cast-off. It depends on the player, and if you look at some of the players we've got who were the star player at mid-table clubs, Sigurdsson was a star player at a mid-table club. It's you've got to have the right sort of plan in mind. Players have got to fit the way you want to play. This is the first time since probably Martinez's first season where we've had a distinct sort of formation and a profile of player we want and a style of play. Okay, Ancelotti's more pragmatic and doesn't like to get married to one thing, but we're the 4-3-3 team. We want to push our full backs up and we need our centre midfielders to do a lot of the cover work. So we know what we need now. We know, when we get linked to number 10s and the like, it's probably not going to happen because we're not going to play number 10s.
In
So, go on.
From what I was saying about maybe signing cast-offs, I think the best way of putting it is you look at the likes of Ben Godfrey, who's come in and done quite well so far this season. I think we need another player from that kind of background, someone who comes in and will give everything to the cause. I don't think. I think Kadir is a bit of a crab personally. I don't think he's going to be one of those players who'll throw his weight around in the midfield and work his socks off for the Everton cause. I think he'll come in and he'll be that player who sits. I think we need three absolute workhorses in the middle of the park to cover our fullbacks and James who doesn't really track back. I think if we want to protect ourselves from the defence on an attacking side of things, I think we need more legs in the midfield. I don't think Khedira provides that at this stage of his career.
I just try and get it just a go.
Yeah, I mean, Idrissa Gueye, I'd have Idrissa Gueye back before I had Sami Khedira, but well, and again, I'm not sure if Idrissa Gueye is the answer. The whole never go back side of things, but I'd have Gueye
I would.
back over Khedira.
I think if he was available, I'd be all over him. He would slot. I know it's another older player, and it's not gonna fix anything long term. But you get him back another year or two, another 3 years maybe, as long as he's still fit, he just makes such a difference to our team. He's such a good player. We saw when he was here, he made all the other players play better. So I would go for him all every day and twice on Sunday. Just
Yeah,
depends whether he actually is for sale.
yeah. I
French league. Well,
Go on, yeah, I think I know what you're going to get at, but go for it.
Well, the French league need to sell soon, don't they, because of the media rights deal, but that won't affect PSG. Not well, it will a bit, but it won't like the other clubs because they're bankrolled by a country basically. So they're one of the only clubs that don't need to sell as much as the others. But I'd be looking around the French league just for all kinds of players like the Lilles and teams like that. See if you can pick up decent bargains. We've been linked with that right back from the other.
Zeki Chelik, I was going to actually
Uh,
mention on that note that we have been linked to a couple of cheeky players from the French league. There's another one who I'm not sure how high profile he's already become, even at like 18, but there's a guy called Camavinga who plays for Rennes, and he's absolutely excellent in the middle of the park. I think I'm not sure whether he's already got like the likes of Juventus and whatnot with their eyes on him, but PSG possibly. But
yeah, he's going to be one of them. Gets snapped up by the mega clubs, isn't he? Man United have been linked with him, and Real Madrid as well.
Goodness me, that's like an 18-year-old as well. So there must be something about him. But regardless, I think we do need to bring in. I would love to have a third workhorse in the middle of the park. I think obviously like Decore and Allen. I think we need another one of them. I mean, you look at dare to say it, across the park, they've got like three players in the middle who they all have ability, but it's all about their work rate in the middle of the park. Like you've got to have players who can put a tackle in, be a bit physical. Do you think Khedira offers us that? I'm not sure if he's the answer to that now.
No, I mean, what what you want to what you want by the sounds of it is a holding player in two box to box. Like you don't want three holding players who all just stand there like statues and shield the back four. You need one who sits and dictates, and two who go back.
You go
Good
hunting the ball.
up and down. Now, I think we've already got the two box to box. Allen and Decore, I think, are natural to do that. What we haven't got is the six who sits. Like we've been using Allen like that at the start of the season, especially. But he doesn't want to sit and hold. He wants to go hunting for the ball. He's more. Uh, we don't need another one of them. We need someone like a good Schneidlin, like someone who sits there and dictates the play, like Gareth Barry. Well, that is Khedira's position, but he's just not going to be the level that we need in this league. If this was a slow league,
I'd
then
have it
the
all
age
day,
wouldn't
yeah.
matter. But he'd just get left for dust in this league.
I think
So it's a no from me. Let's have a look at the comments about
Swanky 2006 there just put up meant to be after another Norwich player, and I think he's referring to Max Aarons there, who's of course a right back as well. He's been obviously did very well in the Premier League last season, but he got relegated and he's done all right. I think at Championship level. I'll be lying if I said I was keeping an eye on him in the Championship, but he's been linked with Man United. But I think we've had our name thrown in there a bit recently as well. So I mean, Max Aarons, was you have him? Do you know much about Max Aarons apart from that one game where we got beaten home off Norwich last season?
He was great in that game. I thought when Norwich went down that he'd be the first. Like you looked at their squad and you thought, well, Wendy, Cantwell are their attacking stars, so they'll go. Max Aarons is, a good right back, he'll go, and then other players maybe some of them, but Wendy, Cantwell, and Aarons are all still there, and Godfrey and Lewis have both got moves.
I like both
Like Jamal
of those.
Lewis went to Newcastle.
I'm surprised Jamal Lewis hasn't done better at Newcastle. I think I do actually think I thought he was quite good for Norwich, but Max Aarons on the other side was equally good, if not better, and he's still there.
Yeah, but just on Jamal Lewis, Liverpool wanted them, remember, so it's just that he picked the wrong club. Like he didn't pick Newcastle over Liverpool. I think Liverpool wouldn't pay the price, but I think if he had gone to Liverpool and he'd have accepted the bid, I think he'd be doing fine now. He's gone to Newcastle and he's playing in Bruce's team where he doesn't get to attack very much and what have you. But Aarons, I'd have Aarons. I think that that would, if it works, if it's as successful as Godfrey's been, that boxes off your right back position for years and years and years. But
Well, that's
You know,
what
as
that's.
you've touched on
I
already.
just think we need to aim for these players who. What the thing I love about signing Championship players is they're very, very well grounded, and when they come to Everton, who for maybe the likes of players who are coming from Real Madrid and Juventus aren't like that glamorous. Playing for Everton's an honour for a player who comes from the Championship. It always is.
You want as an aspirational transfer, like they're stepping up to Everton and want to kick their career on, whereas you don't want them to come step down to Everton and they're just making the most of the rest of their career, that kind of thing.
Precisely, yeah. I mean, I know we brought in James at the start of the season, and you know that he's in the later stages of his career. He's just come from Real Madrid, but you can't have a whole team of players like that. I do think you need to find a good balance, and to complement superstar players like Rodriguez, you need workhorses.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you on the midfield today because let's be honest, the front three will score goals if it doesn't have to defend, and that's the problem. It hasn't got that luxury at the minute. It needs to defend because the rest of the team isn't good enough to do that for them. But I mean, who else have we been linked with? We could talk, could do that. Like we've touched on Khedira, we've touched on
You talk
Adams.
about
Who else?
like players as in who could provide more attacking impetus to the team.
Just anything what we've been
Well,
linked with.
say
Like
well,
because I don't think we'll do anything this month. So it'd be exciting if we did, but I just don't see it. I think we'll just wait to get the injured players back, and we won't sign anyone unless we were to suddenly sell someone, which is a different matter. But
yeah,
so
Everton botches there. The chat's just put a good example of maybe someone Leon Bailey, which is a one we were linked with in the summer, but that could be a very expensive one, I think, because he's done quite well for Leverkusen this season in Germany.
I think we dropped the bollock with him a little bit. He was getting offered around for 25 million. The rumor was, wasn't it,
Or
in the
something
summer?
along those lines, yeah.
And yeah, clubs all looked at him, and now he's stayed at Leverkusen. He's hit form again, and now he'll cost nearly twice that. He'll cost a lot more than that. So I would imagine he's off the menu at the minute, just for the
The
money.
one thing that might possibly put him back on the menu is, of course, a potential outgoing transfer, which is Moise Kean. Paris are looking to make that permanent, apparently, and we're looking like they were going to offer around 31 million, which could, go a long way to like financing any potential incomings. Would you sell for that money?
Yeah, I would,
You would, yeah.
because I don't see anyone offering more than that. Like he's scoring goals in for PSG, but is he doing so well that someone's going to come in and offer more than 31 million for him? That also remember he needs to go. He wants to go too because he's at PSG. This is the move he really wants. He wants to be. It sounds weird because PSG are like much more successful and bigger than we are like now. Um, but he wants to be in that sort of big fish, little pond in terms of his not that he's like a big fish at the club, but he's a big fish in that league. Like he couldn't really hack it here, but he's gone there and he's
Yeah,
just
he'll walk
taking the
that
piss
he'll
out.
walk that league.
Yeah, he wants to just go to training every day with Neymar and Mbappe and come in for games that they can't be asked in basically and net 20 goals a season against absolute window
Yeah,
cleaners. And he doesn't want to come here and fight for his place and come off the bench and all that. I
yeah.
think
I
that
think
that role is sort of landed in there is cushy for him. So I'd be more than happy to sell him for that. I don't think we'll see him back here again.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing I will say about. I mean, some of Brands' signings haven't been great, but most of the ones he has brought in have still got sell-on value, and in this case, there's a lot of value in that. I think I'd personally try and boss them up to the 35 kind of mark, see if we could get a little bit more. But if so be it, if it has to be 31, I'd take it. Move on, bring in the players that could help us kick on. C-Sid in the chat says, no chance of us getting Max Aarons this window, should try in the summer. And Tuverus has said, lads, get on Transfermarkt and find some decent player links. I mean, Transfermarkt's a great website, but it's one of them. I look on there a lot, but There's a lot of like Liverpool. There's a lot of big enough Liverpool articles on there, so I tend to steer clear, to be honest. But it's one of them. If you want to go and get like transfer values and whatnot, it is a good site for that. So yeah, head on over there if you want to like try and find some more gems for us and maybe recommend a few in our next live show in the comments. Eugene McGeever has said Everton needs to get rid of some dead wood in the January transfer window now. Yeah, definitely. On the deadwood, I think I'm not sure whether Kean constitutes as deadwood, Moise Kean, but he's on loan at Paris, and they're looking like they're going to offer some money for him. I would like consider anything over 30. I think might just be enough to like turn our heads, and if we get that money in, who knows what we could do in terms of our own business.
That's just a formality with him. Like he's going to go either in January or in the summer, and he'll go for similar amounts to what we paid for, and we'll just make our money back on him. That's the beauty of signing young players, that you can make some money back off them. It happened with Luckman, it happened with Vlasic, it's going to happen with Moise Kean. Where we're going to struggle to get rid of Deadwood is he's got a lot of links, but who's going to pay money, actual real money, for Cenk Tosun? Loads of places will take him on loan. And that's what we've ended up doing with like the likes of Walcott and what have you. Are we going to end up just loaning him out until his contract expires? Possibly, but because he is a perfect example of the type of player you get in January. I mean, we bought him in January, but under different circumstances. Like other clubs who need goals, like a West Brom, are getting linked with him because they're thinking, you know what, who's out of favour at better, more stable clubs and could make a difference for us. So he could go to West Brom. He's been linked with Hertha Berlin. He's been linked with
Schalke.
Schalke won't get it, but I could definitely see West Brom or Besiktas being serious. But I think
he'd love to go back to Besiktas, wouldn't he? But it's a case of whether.
No, I don't think he would. I think he's resistant to going back to the Turkish league because it feels like he's failed. I think he wants to stay in the Premier League, so I can see him going to West Brom before there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it looked like he got off to a decent start when he went on loan to Palace last year, and obviously the injury derailed that a bit. So, we'll see what happens with Cenk Tosun, but we just got to hope that we recoup a little bit of money for him, because it's definitely got to fall into the category of a failed transfer, Tosun.
Yeah, it was a daft thing to do. Why we gave that slug 50 million to spend, I don't know. When the whole world, including ourselves, knew he was going to be here for 6 months and keep us up and then get off. We let a manager and an outgoing manager and an outgoing director of football spend 50 million, or close to 50 million, on two players with no resale value. We've just basically loaned Walcott out till the end of his contract, and now we're trying to give away Tosun. Absolutely brainless from us, but whatever.
Stranger things have happened. We got real money for Sandro Ramirez last October, so that stunned me, and so nothing else will surprise me now.
A real £2 coin. Like, I don't know. I don't believe that I don't think it was reported we got money for him. I think we just let him go, and he agreed to take a wage cut, or we even paid up part of his wage. I don't think we got a fee for him. I'd be very surprised if that was the case.
Toffee Blues John's just put up in the chat there. Christian Eriksen has been linked today. Would anyone have him? Ben Williams said he'd love him. Terry, would you love him?
No.
I wouldn't either.
He's an upmarket Sigurdsson. Well better than Sigurdsson, like ability wise. But I'm comparing that from when he was at Tottenham. And all you're going to do is take a £200,000 a week player who's 28 and doesn't play in any position that we you know what I mean. Like in our formation, he'd have to be part of the front three, because he's not going to play in the middle three. And if he does, no, for me, I appreciate he is better than Sigurdsson and he is a good player, but I just don't. I think that's what you were talking about before. These players who've flopped somewhere else and they taken a step down. That to me makes me feel like Schneider. That reminds me of the Schneiderlin move. Like, let's get this player who's got a decent reputation, but he's taken a step down to come here. I don't want that. I want players, hungry players on the up and up. Don't mind if they're from bigger clubs than us, but they've got to be young and haven't established themselves first. I don't want players who have established themselves and then gone off the boil because the motivation's not there. I don't think.
No, and I think that's clear in Christian Eriksen, given that the hunger we saw in his early years at Spurs compared to his final year there, and then what we've seen since into that he can't even get in the Inter Milan squad.
No, don't be picking up other people's problems like that. I wouldn't. Plus, we've got Sigurdsson, we've got Gomez. He could be better than the two of them put together, but are those two going to give up their wages to sign him?
No, they're not.
Exactly. It's a non-starter for me. That to be honest, I'm going to be a miserable getting saying no to most of these things because all the players we've been linked with, not one of them have
None of them have inspired.
Said,
I mean, I'll be honest. I think Max Adams is the one that sort of made me think, yeah, I'd have him. But everybody else, like you say, hasn't inspired anything in me. Khedira and Eriksen in particular, I think, are very Ronald Koeman type signings, players that in this new era under Ancelotti and Marcel Brands we shouldn't even be considering at all. Michael Tyson, good, nice name by the way, was put in Giroud. Would you consider Giroud on a cheap deal? But would Chelsea let him go for cheap given the way he's been banging it in this season?
I would have had Giroud at any time, and I still would, in theory. But his wife said no. His wife doesn't want him to come up here. He was practically an Everton player. He was that might be a bit strong. He was close to being an Everton player in the summer we sold Lukaku, but his wife put the kibosh on the deal, and now he's at Chelsea and he's scoring goals in a Euros year. He'd be a great player off the bench, but he doesn't want to be on any bench. Never mind ours. He wants to be playing every week, and we've got a 23-year-old version of him playing. So
they've got an out of form Werner. He's getting in their team at this moment in time, and he probably will till the end of the season now. So it's in his best interest to stick around at Chelsea, and like we've got Calvert-Lewin. So I don't think Giroud's a goer. Certainly not right now, and I can't see it in the summer either, to be quite frank.
I think that ship sailed.
Yeah. I think it's one of them. You've got to file that under the likes of Yarmolenko and Riquelme and all the others that we seem to be linked with every summer after we fail to get them. Yarmolenko's the big one, isn't it? Because every year that was.
Yeah. Michael Owen and Alan Smith were the original ones of them. Every year
Michael
we
Owen, yeah.
Them. Until they were retired, we just linked with them constantly.
Ever Banega as well. Remember that one? That used to get touted a lot, didn't it?
Yeah, if we'd have got him, mate. I think Moise wanted him. I think he did want him. It wasn't just paper talk, that. And obviously the famous Jao Moutinho.
Oh, yeah, Moutinho.
Mad that he's still around. I remember watching Sky Sports News and Ken Wright was, watch this space. He's never lived that down.
Ken Wright's been watching that space ever since.
It's terrible.
But it's Everton. Good one here from Toffee Blues John's just popped up. Should we be swapping Bernard for Robin Olsen with Roma? Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I think we come off better than that with wages because I don't think Robin Olsen's on what Bernard's on. I think Bernard really hasn't got a place now in the team. He's fat. I think he's on the out list. The get rid list, and he seems to like Olsen. So I've got him. Yeah, I've got this. You've got that. Let's do a deal.
I think it works out in our favour. I personally think Bernard will do excellently in Serie A. I think that league's made for him. He's very gifted, and he has got ability. I think he can produce more in that league, but he's not got the physicality, and he just can't cut it in this league. And he's like I said in the previous show, he's the second highest paid player in this squad, where we are looking to cut the wage bill. So it will be an excellent move to shift him. He can go to a league where he can flourish, and we bring in a backup keeper for nothing. A permanent backup keeper for nothing. Who's actually proven that he can push Pickford.
too much. I don't know whether they do any like FFP, shenanigans with that. Like, you buy in for 8 million and we buy in for 8 million, and then it looks on the books like you've had 8 million in rather than a straight swap. I don't know, but those type of deals are still going to be prevalent. Like with the COVID effect on the money, like money, but we got Hammers for free. We got Takore for less than we would have typically, and same with Allen and same with Godfrey. I would imagine we paid small amounts up front for all of them, and it's staggered because there was no other way. Other clubs are going to be buying players in this scenario. If we can get a swap deal for the player that just or after the fashion of swap deal. I think Højbjerg went like this for Tottenham and Walker Peters. Yeah. They effectively swapped players, but did something.
Yeah, they announced them as separate, but I think it's one of them. I think it works out. Even if it didn't like come down as we had 8 million, they paid 8 million, whatever. I think you look at the end of the day, you'll probably end up with Olsen on like 40k, 50k a week, as opposed to Banana on 120, 130k a week. That's a whole new.
Yeah,
that's one, potentially two new players there on the wage bill if you want to bring in new recruits.
Yeah. You got to remember, Carlo's team will take shape over several windows, and it's about being patient. I know it's hard to do that when we've had so many false starts, but this time it does feel like the real deal. So, because in the summer, not only will we have a lot of players come out of contract, like the Walcotts of the world and whoever, but we'll also have the FFP will like lose a lot of those accumulated
losses
fees for the likes of. No, it won't suddenly be clean again. It doesn't reset, but the Koeman Walsh summer comes off the previous. It's done on a 3-year sliding scale. So this year, our most recent FFP year will be the Koeman Walsh summer. Now that doesn't mean like, oh well, next summer we're suddenly dead good, but we're a lot better because the all those transfer fees, the Sigurdsson one, they're not on it anymore. So that combined with losing, if you can lose the likes of Bernard, I mean, God, please lose the likes of Delph, then it gives you a lot more reason to bring in not young as in teenagers, but like younger, less expensive players. Like everyone's moans about Iwobi, but I bet you Iwobi's not on anywhere near as much as Bernard.
No, I think Iwobi you're looking at about 60-70k, which is a lot, but it's half of what Bernard's on.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think that's why they're not in a rush to flog Moise Kean, because he'll be on a smaller amount. It's more about making a profit on him. They don't have to get rid of him. Whereas the likes of Walcott, it was like more urgent because he was probably on loads as well.
Yeah, I think the players we need to shift desperately are the Steve Walsh signings, because he clearly paid over the odds in terms of wages for pretty much every player he signed.
But when you look now, how many are left? Like once the summer comes up, because Balassi will be gone either this month or in the summer. Walcott will be gone. Tosin will still be here. Schneiderlin's gone. Michael Kean, they decided they like and they're going to keep, so he doesn't need to go. Rooney's gone. Glassan's gone. Vlasic is gone. We're nearly free of them all anyway, but
the previous summer we had Dana, Stecklenberg all gone.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, I've got to be honest. Toffee TV were talking about this on their match final word, so I can't claim this as my own observation. So sorry for anyone who's watched that as well. We've got a good 11, but we've got no bench.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. If all the Welsh signings were good, we wouldn't have to, have Walcott out on loan, or we wouldn't have had to try and desperately get rid of. We'd have a strong bench. We'd have 4 or 5 players on the bench who could change a game. Whereas right now we haven't.
Yeah.
We've got 10 first teamers. I'd say 11, and it's not even a first 11. You've got probably 4 centre backs who are good, 2 full backs, 2 midfielders, and 3 forwards who are any good, and the rest are
awful.
The rest are all varying levels of
yeah. Well, I think the best way of putting it is basically, I think we've got a top 6 first 11 and a bottom 3 second 11. I'd have some of the bottom half sides reserves over our reserves. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, when you got to think of it's the 11 now. The starting 11 against Tottenham on the first day. Now, everyone I think would agree that's our strongest starting 11, give or take Andre Gomez.
Yeah.
And give or take Ben Godfrey now because he wasn't at the club at that time.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, anyone you're adding on top of that, if they go into your first team, you're knocking one of that starting 11 to the bench. So if we get a brand new midfielder in the summer, then Gomez goes on the bench. Or if you get two new midfielders, then one of Alan Odecore is coming in and out of the team, and and the quality's going up. If you buy another striker, it's unlikely we'll probably put Tom on the bench, but then you've got an option off the bench that isn't Tosin. I think we'll go personally for a more experienced option. I don't mean an older player, but we won't go for another kid because, well, Tom's not a kid now, is he? I think he just counts as a senior player, 23, 24 in so many years. But I would prefer us to go for someone who's 27 and can really compete with Tom rather than
I would go with
somebody when he comes in.
I would go with somebody who's like a proven finisher. I mean, I think for all as good as Calvert-Lewin is, he's not a natural finisher, is he? He's a very good target man, elite.
What?
No, but
I think he's he's not a natural finisher.
Well, what I mean is, give him the service and he'll get a goal, but he won't he won't make a chance for himself. I think we need somebody with that kind of technical ability as well.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I want someone who's a completely different physical profile to Dom. I know Dom's good in the air, but I either want is that Weghorst 6'4", the one from Wolfsburg?
Oh, Weghorst.
I can't say his name.
He's bossing.
That's it, yeah. Someone like him, or go the complete other way and get someone who's rapid, who you come off the bench and just completely does something different.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Well, maybe that could possibly be the case if Leon Bailey was to come in. He's very fast, as James Rodriguez himself said in the chat. One big signing we can do in the summer, where should it be? Where would you sign for the summer if we had to bring in only one player? Terry, where would you go for? That Andre Gomez position?
There's three positions I want to change, but I don't know which one to prioritise.
I would personally go on. I'll let you go first, Led.
Right back.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I think Seamus Coleman isn't really good enough for that position if we're going to kick on. I think his best days are behind him. He still produces some good performances, but not what we need. I think we need a very dynamic right back who can get up and down, and a better crosser of the ball than Coleman. Because if we get a right back who can cross half as good as Luca Dean can cross on the other side, then Calvert-Lewin's going to have a field day.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a Luca Dean version of a right back that that slots in and can just be our right back going forward, then the rest of the knock-on effect on the rest of the team is so much greater because you've got a settle back four then, or settle full backs, and you can probably land on two of the centre backs because we've got quite a few decent ones, and then you get more out of James Rodriguez, you get more out of the centre midfielders, everything clicks into place. But I was conflicted because I also think we need three first team signings in the summer. We need a right back, we need another centre midfielder, because right now we've basically got two starters and we're just basically rotating the other crabs basically. Sigurdsson's. Okay, I was going to swear, but I've decided not to. Sigurdsson's done all right in the December games, but that doesn't erase a year and a half of being terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gomez has gone from being our most influential and important midfielder to being just a waste of time. So ineffective now when he comes on the pitch. I know he's had the injury, but he's just so useless.
One-dimensional, isn't it? It's terrible. But James Rodriguez has just said, would you have Sidibe back?
No.
I don't think so.
We had him on loan. We had him on loan, and we had a good look at him. and he wasn't bad. He wasn't good enough. I want someone better than that.
Uh,
I want. I want. That's like saying to me, "Do you want Anthony Robinson back?" But you can't have Dean. It's like, no, I want Dean. I want that level of player. I want quality right back. But I also think we need that midfielder, as I say, because we've only got two proper ones at the minute, and we're making do with the other one. And I also think we need a new starting goalkeeper. That's probably the least likely of the three. What they're the three positions: right back, centre midfielder, and goalkeeper. I don't even think we need a right winger. If you can get a striker who can cover there.
yeah, I think Leon Bailey would be an excellent signing, but it's all about how much we'd end up having to shell out for that. We'd have to keep an eye on that. I think that's if that is a goer, it's definitely one for the summer. We're not going to throw 40 million around in January, whatever happens. I mean,
No, I
stranger
don't think
things have
so. It
happened.
it depends on how much. No, true. Let's have a look at the comments. I haven't looked at them in a
Yeah.
while.
Eugene McGeever, what do you think was Everton's worst ever signing back in the day? Mine is Ashley Williams. Yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised it's a Walsh signing. I think you've made a very good point there before. Don't tell you about the Walsh signing. It was absolutely disastrous, but after this summer, I think Cenk Tosun's the only one left, if I'm not mistaken.
The worst signing. The worst signing, and I need to qualify this with it's not based on the player's ability, and it's certainly not the player's fault. But the worst signing was Balassi
Balassi.
because we brought him in. We brought him in for 30 million. He was like the first big signing we've made after Lukaku. We got how long? We got about 4 months out of him. We got August to December, and he was starting and he was playing well. Then he got a bad injury, and by the time he came back, we changed manager, and we didn't really want to use him anymore because the club had changed so much in the time he was gone. So we got a little run of games under Allardyce because he worked hard to get back. He wasn't really having an impact. So we spent 30 million on a player who only really we wanted for 4 months, and when he came back from his injury, we changed manager. We didn't want him. We've been trying to get him away ever since. That's not his fault. He got a bad injury. You know what I mean? If he doesn't get that injury and then managers change, he'd probably be sold for a decent sum of money. But that injury destroyed any value he had, and we, no fault of his own, we changed our sort of vision of ourselves while he was in physio, while he was on the treatment table. So that was literally we just wasted 30 million and effectively messed his career up. So that was for me the worst signing we've made on every front.
Certainly. Certainly. James Rodriguez said he wants Donnarumma from AC Milan. Uh,
So do I.
Interesting one.
But I reckon Chelsea for him. Living in London, big wages on a free. If he doesn't stay at Milan, which I still think is the most likely, I think he'll go to Chelsea. There's no way we're getting him.
Interesting though. I've seen that name thrown around a lot, but that's not something I can see being a goer. Just before we finish up, we've got a couple more. Toffee Blues John going back a little bit said nobody's upset about Jonas Lossell potentially going to Marseille or into Miami. Something tells me we're not. I mean, he's the greatest number 49 that Everton's ever had.
I'm baffled by that. He was brought in. You're right. He was at Huddersfield as the number one. He didn't set the world alight, but so Pickford came in from Sunderland, who were just as bad as Huddersfield the season before, or the 2 seasons before, whatever it was, and he went straight into our first team. All right, Pickford was good at first, but Lossell's come in, and I don't think he's even had his competitive debut. What is he just that bad in training? Where Pickford is dropping a bollock every single other week or every single week at some points. He's picked up a bit now, but there was times where I just think, how bad must Lossell be in training to not get a chance now? But it's consecutive managers have said, "No, I don't fancy him." Even the manager who signed him, there must be something wrong with that with him. Like, I don't get it because I was all for starting him at times, but no manager was.
But
So there must be
it looks
something
as
wrong.
though Olsen has proven himself to be an able deputy to Jordan Pickford. I think that the Bernard swap deal would be an excellent deal. That's one that I'd like to see be a goer this January. That might actually have some legs in it. Michael Tyson again popped up with Zaha. Again, that's another one. I think it's a ship that's sailed.
Yeah, quality player. They won't have lowered their price for him. and he's getting older every year. So it's been and gone now. It's like Giroud. It would have been great at the time. I wouldn't sniff at him now, but it's just not going to happen,
Yeah.
is it?
Frankie 2006, where do you think Godfrey will play when Dean's back? You have Holgate playing okay, Kean playing well too if we sign a right back. Personally, I think Godfrey is better than Mason Holgate from what I've seen of both of them. I think Godfrey is the defender first, he's more physically imposing. Godfrey's got potential to be an excellent defender. I mean, he's not as technically gifted as Holgate, but I think when you're a centre-back, you defend first and the rest comes later. And I think with Godfrey, we've got that. And I think personally, Kean and Godfrey have to be the centre-back pairing with all full-backs and centre-backs fit.
Right now, I would say that, but that can change because we've genuinely got 4 potential starter centre-backs. I've been a long-time admirer of Yerry Mina. I went off him a little bit early in the season because I thought he wasn't playing very well and he was a big contributor for how many goals we were conceding. He seems to have turned that around and got back to his best of form now, which I'm happy about. And the other 3, Kean, Holgate and Godfrey, we've genuinely got there, if all fit, 4 potential starting centre-backs. We will land on a combination eventually, and that'll probably settle for a while. I think you're right. I think Kean and Godfrey might be the ticket, but Holgate and Mina, in their own different ways, offer something different to either of them two. So yeah, I could see any combination. I could see Godfrey and Holgate. I could see Holgate and Kean, which he likes. He likes Mina as well, coming in with Kean and Mina are statistically best combination. The only combination I don't think we've seen. No, we haven't seen Godfrey at centre back much, have we? So I'd be interested to see what he's like with each of the other ones. Like I've not seen him with Holgate, we've not seen him with Mina or Kean. So him at centre back, it might become apparent who he suits being with as the time goes on. Because he's only played right back, left back, or in the 3. I think Godfrey will be the number 1 name of the centre backs next season. But it just depends who goes alongside him. You just don't know who's going to be the best fit because you haven't tried it yet.
Finally, before we finish, a few more names have been thrown up in the comments. Kessie at AC Milan from Kessie. He's a cracking midfielder, Paul says, and I agree with that. I think he's brilliant. Very physical, very much what I'd like to see us bring in. Whether we bring him in is another thing. I think it'd be very expensive. And it looks as though AC Milan will get Champions League this season. I think they're second in the table at the moment. So, that could be a tough ask to try and bring him in, but you never know. And finally, before we finish, a very interesting one again from Paul. Julian Draxler is out of contract at Paris at the end of the season. Would you have Julian Draxler? Does he fit the mould of what we're after?
How old is he now?
Sure, I haven't even got a clue.
He was, I don't know. I would question, my gut instinct says no, because he's going to fall into that category of aging former, elite players who just want to, they won't have the hunger. But then I can never make that assumption straight away because James Rodriguez shocked me because I would have thought he'd be the same. So no, but I'm open to being corrected on that because you just don't know. If he was the type of player who wanted to come in and really make a go of a project at a different type of club, by all means. But on the face of it, it seems like it'd just be more, meal ticket type stuff.
Yeah, I'm not sold on any of that, to be honest. Anyway, we've got through a lot of names there anyway. If you had to pick anyone out of the names that we've brought up in the show, who would you go with?
I like Zeki Chelif. I've only seen him a little bit, because we were with him in the summer. I did that thing where you watch, highlights and Y Scout type stuff of him. The Lille right back. I like the way he looks, but other than him, probably Leon Bailey. but it's just how realistic it is.
Yeah, personally, I'm not sure if Leon Bailey's a goer. Certainly not this month. If there's anyone, I think Max Aarons could be the one I'd go for. I think he could lift us up a little bit in terms of making the team more balanced, getting a marauding full back on either side, get us moving down both flanks, make us more threatening on the side, give the opposition more to think about. I think that's signing a very good right back, whether it's Aarons or Celik or somebody else. I think that is going to be the key to really getting us up another level, because that automatically gives us threat all the way across the park then.
Yeah, I think if you get a quality right back and you get it right, then you can just forget about the defence. Then it's boxed off. It's quality, or well, it's got decent depth everywhere. You know, good centre back depth. You know, got an experienced cover it right back in Coleman. You've got a young player in Kunku at left back, and also Godfrey can go there. You can forget about your defence. You can concentrate on the rest of the team. But it's one of the two weak areas of the ideal 11 that need, well, three in my opinion, but two of the definite weak areas are right back and centre midfield. So if you can get one of them sorted, it's boxed off.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens anyway. We've got, there's still what 24, 26 days of this window to go, so you never know what could happen in that time. Let's hope we do some business. I'm not expecting us to, push the boat out, but a few little tweaks here and there, you never know what we could do. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. And of course, there's a 24/7 video coming out at around 8:30 this evening, so definitely check that out for the latest transfer news as well. And until next time, thank you guys for watching on the Toffee Blues. We'll see you later.